Hello, this is Nick. In this video, I will show you how your business emails will land in the inbox every time instead of in the spam folder. That is very important for a new business because landing in the spam folder could kill your business if you don't know how to stop it. Okay, everything I say here, as always, is lived experience. I'm going to share my screen with you live. And what you learn here, you'll be able to put in use right after the end of the video. This was my path. Take what works for you and do not what doesn't. All right, so what is email deliverability and why it could kill your business? Your business emails that you send to prospects and potential customers could land in a number of different folders. I'm going to share with you my personal Gmail account, and I'm sure you've all seen this. There are a number of different folders. The primary folder is where you want your email to be. However, it could end up in the promotions folder. A lot of stuff here. You could end up in the social folder, or you could end up in the updates folder. And neither of these three are ideal. Worse of all, you could end up in the dreaded spam folder. I don't know if I dare show you my spam folder, but let's give it a try. Hopefully nothing too bad comes up. Yep, it's a bunch of garbage, right? Why does that happen? Because large email platforms like Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, so on and so forth, they rank your emails, they determine their credibility, and depending on that credibility score, these emails could land in different folders, as you saw. The reason, obviously, to be Captain Obvious here for a minute, the reason why that's important is it doesn't matter how eloquent you are in your emails to your prospective customers. If they don't get the emails, if they don't get the message, it doesn't really matter. Your business will not succeed. So what we will cover for the rest of this video are a number of topics. Some of them include things like domain registration, DNS servers, email hosting, and website hosting in order to help you engineer the perfect delivery of your emails every single time into the inbox, into the primary inbox of the final recipient. Stage one. This stage starts at the point when you launch your business, and it could last for a couple of months. So before you even get to this point, you need to set up your website and your email. I'm going to walk you through very quickly how that looks like for two of my businesses, Amazon Bound, which is my consumer interview preparation service, and BarRaiser, which is my consulting B2B service for small companies to learn how to hire candidates better. So I'm hosting both of these sites on Squarespace. This was one of those terms here that I mentioned will need to be comfortable with website hosting. So you got to find a host for your websites. In my case, for both sites, it is Squarespace. And you can update your websites and configure them, so on and so forth. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you how you could, in addition to host your website with these companies, Squarespace, GoDaddy, so on and so forth, they give you the ability to provide an email address for you as well. And that is something you should be careful of. So in Squarespace's case, if I click on domains and email, you can see how I have my domain set up here and my Google Workspace email. So effectively, Squarespace is reselling email services from Google in this case. Other companies do it all the time. Other website hosting companies like GoDaddy, Wix, so on and so forth, they do it all the time. The important piece here that I have to share with you right at the get-go is do not make that mistake. Do not use your website hosting company to provide you with your email address as well. Why? Because you could change your website hosting company in the future. It's happened to me a number of times. I have made the error myself. Again, the point of this channel is to save you from making the mistakes that I've made. I've made that error myself with BarRaiser, where I bought my email service from Microsoft through GoDaddy. And now I'm no longer with GoDaddy. As you can see, I'm with Squarespace. I always have to go through GoDaddy in order to gain access to my email account with Microsoft, which is a pain. And as you'll see, changing the configuration of those email accounts is not trivial because it's going to hurt your credibility score. So I would say go to the source, go to either Microsoft if you want to host your email with Microsoft, or Google. For Amazon Bound, I'm using Google, as you can see here, and sign a contract with them and do not use intermediaries. It's incredibly cheap to get an email address at $7.20 per month per inbox with Google, with Microsoft, it's comparable. So you have no excuses. do it directly, and then you would be able to change your website hosting providers without a problem. All right, so we talked about email hosting, we talked about website hosting, and we're marching forward. The stage starts right at the launch of your business, and it goes for about a couple of months. Start your website and your email hosting. Don't use intermediaries. And then you got to warm up your email address. What the heck does that mean? There are a number of providers that enable warm-up inbox services. Let me show you. If you look for warm-up inbox services, right? If you do a Google search, there's a ton of these guys. Warmup Inbox, MailReach, Instantly.ai, so on and so forth. Warmbox, I'm not going to tell you which one to use. They're very much commoditized services. It's up to you which one you want to choose. I have used Warmup Inbox from day one, so that's what I'll use here to show you how this service works. Okay, so I started Warmup Inbox under my BarRaiser account. You can see that now I've most recently used Warmup Inbox with my PureBlazer account. The reason is, as I mentioned, this stage of the warming up inbox process is relevant primarily in the beginning when you start a new business. Once you warm up your inbox and then you start communicating with customers and whatnot, then you should be okay, and you can go from a warm-up state to a monitoring state. Now, going back to Warmup Inbox, here is the latest inbox that I warmed up through their services. It's nick@pureblazer.com. My status is paused. Why? Because these are paid services. They cost about $20 per month, as you'll see. And once you've used their utility, you could pause them, or you could delete them, or you could change a different inbox that you want to warm up. In my case, I've paused the service. I had activated the service from the 5th of October in 2023 to early January of 2024. And what Warmup Inbox did is it sent about 4,000 emails on my behalf. And the way these Warmup Inbox services work is that they're comprised by a network of email accounts. Like mine, I join their network, I start paying them money, there are other people like me. And these services, they enable these inboxes to email each other. And via AI and intelligent routing and intelligent language that they use and mimicking human typing and human speech, these services monitor how many of your emails get delivered into that pool of other connected email clients. So in my case, they sent 4,000 emails, 92% of them were delivered in the inbox, 0%, 30 of 4,000 were delivered in the spam folder, that's good, and about 7% were delivered in those other categories that I showed you in my Gmail account, like social, promotions, updates, so on and so forth. And these services, as a result, assign a reputation score for each of these three providers. And you can see the different deliverability success by provider. So between you and I, Outlook tends to be much more strict than Google. That's something for you to keep in mind. Okay, so how do these services work? What do you need to do when you open an account and configure your inbox? So you need to add your inbox first, right? So you need to add inbox here with a button and then link an inbox. And then once you've done this, they will give you suggestions on different records that you need to add into your domain name registration. You are going to have to register a domain name with a domain name registrar. In my case, I'm using Cloudflare. And Cloudflare, or any other domain registrar, is going to have something called DNS, that's domain name servers. And in the domain name servers, you would be able to add different records that determine the deliverability of your website and emails associated with your website. So if I go back to Warmup Inbox, they are letting me know what records I need to add to those DNS records in order to ensure that my email is going to be delivered and that these email providers are not going to think that my email is spam. So these records, they happen to be of a different variety and they happen to have different sophistication. I'll walk you through a couple of them. But just so you know, if you set up your email account through either Google or Microsoft, they automate a lot of this setup for you. And that should be pretty straightforward to get done. All right, so the first type of records is SPF. SPF, if I flip to my DNS records here with Cloudflare, is the record right here. That's a TXT record that you need to add. At the top, you add a new record if you didn't have it, and then you configure that record. After you take care of SPF, you would need to take care of MX records. And those MX records are DNS records, again, that are needed to deliver an email. In Amazon Bound's case, you can see a bunch of MX records here because Amazon Bound, again, I'm using Google Workspace for those. Then the next step is to use a DMARC record. So the DMARC here is another set of records which are listed right here. So you would need to add, again, similarly, a new text record, and you would need to follow the specifications that you see from either your email provider like Google or Microsoft, or intermediaries, in this case, Warmup Inbox, which are pretty good at this too. Another data point that they take care of is they list all these blacklist databases that contain information, emails of known hackers and people with bad intent. So the fact that you have a bunch of green dots means that your email is not associated with any of those databases. And then they also give you a warm-up days icon to make sure that it's been those couple of months of time that I mentioned in the beginning that you need to warm up your inbox. So once you get these done, and I'm showing you here what those records look like for Amazon Bound, I understand that I was listing Pure Blazer here, and I'm showing you the corresponding records in Amazon Bound, but hopefully it's not a big deal. Okay, so once you configure this with your DNS provider, and a lot of it, as I said, is automated, some of it is not, you're gonna have to do it manually, but it's pretty straightforward to do. Then you can start your service with a provider like Warmup Inbox and run it for about a couple of months, and you will be in a great shape. Now, let me show you again. I mentioned this is a paid service. There you have it. It's about 20 bucks a month. And the features they provide, the benefits they provide, more than 30,000 real inboxes like you and I, a good response rate. They monitor your spam and category deliverability data, email reputation check, and they send 75 warm-up messages per day. Choose the service you like. They all pretty much do the same thing, but having a Warmup Inbox service is a must, especially if you're starting a B2B company. Why? Because a lot of these business potential customers of yours are going to have automated spam filters in their firewalls. So in addition to Microsoft and Google and Yahoo pestering you and looking at the quality and the health of your emails, you're going to get that corporate firewall evaluating your email and your content. So you want to make sure that it's quality and as healthy as possible. Okay, so let's get out of this. Let's see, did we cover everything? Set up the email and the website, warm up your email inbox, set up an online calendar, and set up your social media presence. I've covered these topics in a different video, so I'm not gonna go through them again. And then at that juncture, start working on your presence online for those organic warm leads and prospective customers to find you. I'll just show you very quickly what my social media looks like for Amazon Bound. It is my YouTube channel with 3,000 subscribers. For BarRaiser, it's a B2B service, and BarRaiser's social media for me is on LinkedIn. Here I have more than 450 followers, 462. I have a bunch of activity that I haven't looked at. Let's see, these are my visitors on the LinkedIn site. So make sure that you set those social media and warm lead channel acquisition channels, and you'd be in a really good shape. And then at this juncture, start prospecting. What does that mean? Just start growing your business naturally and organically. Learn the business, make content, talk with your users, invite them to meet you via your Calendly links, get their feedback, and accumulate leads. Create a distribution list of emails, what have you. And then at this point, at the end of the 2 to 3 month period, you could choose to stop paying for warming up services, like I've done for both BarRaiser and Amazon bound, and also for Pure Blazer. That's another company of mine that I've not talked about. And it's up to you if you want to continue doing so. But in my experience, again, it's vital to get that boost of warming up with 70 to 100 emails per day in the very beginning. And then after that, the normal course of business is going to take care of things for you. Okay, so at this point, we're ready to graduate from stage 1 to stage 2. Stage 2 starts after stage 1, Captain Obvious here, and lasts forever. This is pretty much like breathing. It's not like eating. It goes on forever. You are never done with looking for new contacts and engaging with the ones you have. So you carry on prospecting, you're learning the business, you're creating content, you're talking to users. Everything we talked about in stage 1 continues in this stage as well. And that's where Apollo will be very helpful to you. Apollo is going to help you on a number of different fronts. For the sake of this video, I'm going to focus on 4 primary elements, but thematically it's going to be to help you generate new leads and engage with existing ones. The good news is, among all the other good news that I've shared with you, is that all that functionality Apollo is going to give you for free. You just need to open a free plan with them and knock yourself out. It's super useful. And that's why I say that it's way more powerful than any email engagement tool that you might get bundled with your Squarespace or Wix provider or GoDaddy website provider, website hosting providers. There are 4 stages that we're going to talk about when it comes to Apollo. Prospecting, when you need new leads. Engaging, when you already have those leads and you need to talk to them. Ramping up your inbox, that's a part of engaging. And monitoring your inbox health. All right, so let's start with prospecting. The good news, another good news with Apollo, is that they give you 50 email prospects per month for free. Meaning, if you don't know the email of a prospective customer, but you know the type of company or the type of institution, you can type their name of the customer or the institution in Apollo, and they're going to give you the email of that customer, prospective lead. So I will show you how this works. If you go to Apollo and you go to the prospect and enrich category, click on search. You could search for any person in the world. I'll search for myself, Nick Dimitrov. And here I am. I'm the very first entry. I'm the co-founder of Pure Blazer. That's how I'm listed on my LinkedIn profile. That's one of my other companies, a .NET CMS platform. And you can see how Apollo is hiding my identity. So if I click access email, it's looking into the database. It's validating the email domain. I'm adding this person to a sequence. I'll show you how that works in a moment. I've had to create the sequence out of order here, but in order to show how the flow works, just bear with me for a moment. So I'm adding this contact to this one sequence. And there you have it. I have one contact to a sequence. And now I can email this person, myself in this case. And also the other cool thing with Apollo is that it says here, these emails are verified valid and activity has been recently and are frequently detected. So they're monitoring the email activity across the internet, and they can guarantee you that this email is a good one. Okay, so that's how you prospect for new leads via Apollo with your 50 email prospects per month. Then we get to the engage stage. Now that I've found this person's email, and I also have a bunch of other emails that I've accumulated from my earlier stage 1 work, I'm ready to work with them and reach out to them and ask them to buy my wonderful services. Apollo lets me send 10,000 emails per month for free with my free plan. I will show you how that works. So you need to go into the engage section, right, in order to create a sequence, which I've already had to do because I had to add a contact to the sequence, and I can't do it out of order. But I'm going to show you how that sequence works. So if I go to a sequence, and here's my sequence. What does a sequence mean? Let's talk about that. The sequence means that I will reach out to a customer in a thoughtful way over a number of days. The likelihood of a prospective lead responding to me if I just shoot him one-off email and forget about them is very low. Instead, the best practice is that I need to continue to engage with this person over the course of maybe a week with 2, 3, 4 different emails, each of them building on top of each other and providing a story, so that hopefully at the second or third or fourth or fifth email, this person is going to respond. In Apollo, you can create a sequence super fast. I'll show you. You can click create new sequence. You can make it AI assisted. Apollo is going to scan through your profile, through your email that you've registered with the service, and they're going to come up with the suggested sequence for you. See how in this case, they have created a sequence of 3 emails for me, day 1, day 4, and day 7, that they're going to send over the duration of 7 days. And the subject of the emails is helping, curly bracket, companies, curly bracket, scale. And these are tags enclosed in double curly brackets, where Apollo is going to change that tag with the real company name from their database. So it says, hi, first name. This is an opener from the AI. And they're going to describe what the message is and how I can help their company. And then best, my first name. And that happens on day 1, then day 4 with a shorter email. By the way, I can change these. I'm changing, if I can type, I'm changing these because I am better at this than the AI. Okay, so then once you're done updating those emails, you save your sequence and it's ready to go. So you can see how now I have 2 sequences that are ready to send emails to leads. And you can see how there's 1 active contact in this sequence, which was Nick Dimitrov at Pureblazer, who we added earlier in the prospecting stage. Now, if we go back to search, you can import a single contact or a CSV. And let's say in stage 1, I'm going to remind you that in stage 1, you were accumulating leads. So let's say you've accumulated maybe 50 or 60 or 100 leads in stage 1. Now with Apollo, you can import these leads in a list or to a sequence, or to a list in a sequence to keep better track of them and start engaging with them automatically via those automated sequences. I'll show you how that works. So I can import my table of contacts, and I'm going to select the CSV file, which I have pre-chosen already. Line here, there you go. So here you need to help Apollo map the data in your offline list to a data type that they can understand. Flawless, this is likely the name of the company. They're saying, hey, we detected 6 columns in your CSV file. Help us understand if we have matched them correctly to the data that we believe these columns represent. So they've recognized 1 of those columns and 5 they need my help for. So let's say Flawless is the company name, account name. Boom, that's Flawless. United Kingdom, that is the home country. Contact place country. Zoltan, that is the contact's first name. Zoltan Patai, that's the contact's first and last name. Has the contact name. The CEO, title. There you have it. So then here are a bunch of settings that you need to just scan quickly. You can just click import. And then Apollo is going to upload your records. Okay, so you can see how I have 567 contacts in that CSV file. And all of those contacts are now available for me to reach out to them. And I guess I must have had some contacts pre-existing, otherwise this number would be exactly 567. And now I can add these to a list. So I can add to a list. I can create or add a list. So let's create, let's say new list test. Add to list. So I have added all of those contacts to a list. 669 contacts are added to the following list. New list test. The 567 that I've imported in the CSV file, and about 100 that I had before for my prior activities. And then also I can add all of these contacts to a sequence. And I can choose either the first one or the second one. Let's choose the first one. Add the 669 contacts. and they're validating them for you. And there's about 60 people who require some sort of review, and that's fine. You can see how all the information that Apollo has, they constantly update for you. All right, so I sequenced the 668 selections, and I'm adding those contacts to my sequence. So now if I go to the sequence, you can see how it's in progress and it's adding the contacts to the sequence. Now it's important for me to stop, to disable this sequence for now. Why? Because once I add those contacts, once I import them successfully to the sequence, which I just did, they're going to be receiving emails from me right away because the sequence is automated. Remember? If I edit the sequence, here's the overview. The first email will deliver in 0 days, meaning the second that I add the contact to the sequence, a valid contact to the sequence, it's going to send that person an email. And you want to stop that because this is a test for you. So I have deactivated the sequence, but that's how you would do it. And then your job is done pretty much. And you can just sit back and Apollo's gonna email those 600 some people over the next number of days for you, and you'll get to see what the results are. So let's wrap a couple other points on this topic. If you go to your inbox, you'll see how you are allowed to have only 250 emails per day. That's partly because you're on the free plan, and also another big part is that if you email too many emails per day with the same subject matter and the same body, especially, then Google and Microsoft, they're gonna catch you and they're gonna label you as a spammer. And also the corporate firewalls are gonna do the same because they communicate with these clients as well. So it's important to know that you have 250 emails a day, and if you have 600 contacts, and if you have 7 days to reach to them, it's gonna take maybe a bit longer than 7 days to chew through the entire sequence. Okay, we talked about prospecting, we talked about engaging. Let's talk about ramping up your inbox. So if you go to Apollo and manage mailboxes, you can see how I have a ramp up here of 0%. The ramp up means that if you have a brand new inbox, they're not going to start out sending 250 emails per day because it's going to explode the inbox and mark it as spam in the eyes of Microsoft and Google. Instead, they're going to do it in smaller steps. 5 emails on day 1, 15 emails on day 2, so on and so forth. That's why ramping up and warming up are so important. Last but not least, Apollo gives you the ability to monitor the health of your inbox. Remember how with Warmup Inbox, we have built up your credibility by having an SPF record and a DKIM record and so on and so forth, and MX records. Apollo lets you monitor that as well. And if you click on check mailbox health here, I would ignore the ones with a red X. These are disabled for free accounts, so Apollo shows you that as if something's wrong, nothing's wrong. The ones that you need to focus on are the signature ones in this case, if you want to add a signature, and the one that I want to talk about is the domain authentication. So you can see how there are 3 different authentication types, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, that Apollo keeps track of. And for barraiser.io, all 3 are in good tip-top shape. So Apollo is going to show you the instructions on how to set those domain attributes and those records with your DNS registrar. So whether it's an SPF or DKIM or DMARC, and whether your registrar is GoDaddy or whoever else, and whether your email provider is Microsoft, Google, or someone else. And now you can see how the sequence works even better. You start up the warming up process with Warmup Inbox, then you finish it, and then you make the handoff to something like Apollo. And there you continually monitor the health of your inbox by following Apollo's suggestions and being mindful of the number of emails you send per day, so on and so forth. Parting thoughts time. Let's recap warm up versus ramp up versus prospect versus engage. Warm up is getting from 0 to a solid state of deliverability via these synthetic services like Warmup Inbox. Prospecting is when you're looking for new leads and you find them via organic leads or via paid clients like Apollo. And then engaging is reaching out to these leads via an automated sequence. Apollo can provide you with that functionality as well. Ramping up is a part of engaging, making sure that you engage in a thoughtful and meaningful way and increase that engagement volume day by day. You must warm your new inbox, especially if you are running a B2B side hustle. My strong suggestion is to start warming up your inbox with a paid service like Warmup Inbox. There's a number of others for a few months, 2, 3, 4 months, costs about $20 a month. And while doing so, accumulate leads in the process via your organic warm leads channels. And then at that juncture, switch to Apollo. And there you can prospect for new leads, you engage with your existing leads and those new leads that you've acquired, and you continue to monitor and improve the health of your inbox. If you're running any kind of new side hustle and you start from zero like a baby, all your inboxes, all your email metrics are going to need the help to get you off the ground. And you don't want to end up in the spam box for any one of your prospective customers. Your message could be brilliant if it does not get delivered into the primary inbox every single time. It's not going to matter. That's why it's vitally important for you to warm up your inbox and then automate your prospecting and engagement with tools like Warmup Inbox in the beginning and Apollo at the end. And I hope you can do it. And I look forward to hearing from you with any feedback to what you've just seen. I would love to answer any questions. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel. Much more importantly though, stay in touch. Let me know what you think. Best of luck to you as you are getting a brand new business off the ground. I'm so impressed by you. You can do it. Chin up. Talk soon. Bye.